Hi, welcome to the next video. In this video we're going to talk about the big 4 things that we work on, that I work with my clients, or that you'll need to work on to improve your golf game, or particularly more of a, I suppose, on a technique basis really. So whether it's chipping, pitching, swing, whatever it might be, there's 4 main areas that if you work on those, or you'll need to work on 1 or maybe 2 of those to fix your problem or to improve your game. So what they are is, 1's the setup or the start position, so how you're standing at the beginning. 2 is the radius. 3's weight shift, and 4's turn. Okay, so we've got 4 things there. So the setup, again, like I mentioned, is how we're standing, how your body angles are, or how you're positioned at the beginning before you make your action or your stroke. Now the radius, so what's the radius? So the radius for me is the distance of your lead arm from the middle of your body. So you could have quite a wide radius like this, where this is very stretched out, or you could have very narrow, where this is quite close to me. Now what we're ideally looking for is that when my lead arm or left arm hangs pretty straight here, the distance or the radius of my left arm here stays the same from the center of my body all the way through my swing. So the radius isn't changing, so it's the same here, as it's the same here, as it's the same here. Now the great bit about that is, if you can get that, then that means that you've not got to change it coming back into impact. It can stay the same. So it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more consistent for you to be able to do. So some people try and change their radius, some people try and go very wide on purpose. Because you can read this in golf magazines, and people have probably told you to get wide to get more power, but it's not always true. So if you go very wide, the thing is you've got to come narrow again coming in. So again, that's something else you've got to change, which can be harder to do. And the thing is, if you get too wide, from what I've seen, a lot of people get pulled out of position. So they get pulled out of the right hitting position, and then it's harder to make the correct contact on the ball, and then you lose power, distance and accuracy, all those kind of things as a result. So next thing we're going to look at is the weight shift. So how you're moving weight in your swing, or what is a weight shift. So this can be quite a tricky one. So a lot of people in the golf swing have always tried to shift what we call laterally, like this. And golf used to be taught like this. We'd try and shift back a lot and then try and turn. Now this has changed quite a lot. Modern golf swings don't really do that. And if you look at people like Luke Donald, Tiger Woods, a lot of the top guys, Justin Rose, they don't really shift back very much. They're all kind of turn within their space like this. Okay, so they're still shifting weight, but they're not doing it with a big lateral movement. So when I move here, I've actually got more pressure on the inside of my right foot here, which is what we're looking for. Again, you can read that in most golf magazines, and if you research it, they'll tell you want the pressure or more weight on the inside of your right foot on the backswing. So you can do this by turning correctly and getting your body arranged correctly. So for me, a lot of people try and shift their weight laterally like this with their lower half, which if I do that, it actually makes my top half lean forward. And if we think about splitting our body into 2 halves in terms of weight, so if I've got my top half of my body and my bottom half of my body here, then the top half of my body is going to weigh more because my head's my heaviest part. So if I'm swinging like this, then I've definitely still got weight behind the ball, because my top's here, my top's still behind the ball at this point. But I've not let my lower half try and shift backwards. And the thing is, for some people, this can feel the opposite. When you move like this, it can feel like I've still got weight forward, even when I've actually got more weight back. So weight can be a little bit tricky in the golf swing. But the key thing is to understand that you don't have to shift it laterally a lot to move your weight. And it doesn't have to be the whole weight, so you don't need to move like everything at once. You can actually do it by moving in the right direction. So the other thing is turn as well. So kind of what turn direction are we looking for, and how does that work? So you can see all sorts of different turns. Again, some people tend to turn what I call, you turn down too much this way, or too vertical. Some people can work too flat or too around like this, a bit more baseball. And for me, we're really looking for something sort of in between the two, really. Too vertical tends to make people's bodies tip out of the right hitting position or the right impact position here, which again makes it more difficult for you to contact the ball correctly. And same thing going back. Again, if you start turning too much like this, it's hard to get back to this position here. So in terms of a turn, what we're looking for, I want your shoulders to work around your spine angle. So from the back, it should be looking something like this at the beginning. So my shoulders are working around my spine here with a slight tilt, but it's not too vertical with the tilt like this, or too level this way. And you don't have to turn a lot at the start. So again, some people try and turn a lot at the beginning or try and turn too much, when really, if we let the club head move first, which has got the furthest distance to move, like this. So all I'm trying to do here is move the club first. My shoulders and arms are moving in a reaction to the club. So if I move the club, my shoulders are moving here, and as I continue to swing up, my shoulders and my body turn more. So from the front angle, again, the first bit would look something like this, where my shoulders are turning and opening out slightly around my spine, and then from here when I swing up, looks like I've got a bit more turn with my shoulders and a slight tilt as I get to the top here. But again, for me, it's not a very vertical tilt with my shoulders, or it's not a very flat tilt with my shoulders. So you might lie in one of those or somewhere in between, but that's where you need to apply it to what you do and what's what's right for you, really. But a really good drill for this to work out how you're turning. If you get your arms in front of you like this, hold both arms out with a bit of bend. What we're looking for is your left side to come forward and your right side to go back like this. Okay, so from the back, that would look something like that. Okay, so there's a bit of a brief introduction on the sort of big 4 things that I work on with people and that we'll need to work on in your game. And if you can just start to get a basic understanding of these things, that's going to help you improve your game and speed up your learning. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.